Okay, hi there. The current name of our project is Buffalo Berry Permaculture. My name is Eduardo and my partner here with me is Alabama Kip. Currently, our project is sitting at where we are kind of working full time with our health department on any projects related to food on the nation. So our main one is the Elders Lodge and redoing their kind of like a design consultation for their new pathway, food, forest, and garden area. And then on the farm, we're just trying to build up our infrastructure to get ready for next year to go really big at it. This year we had last month a really bad coyote attack where we lost about 40 of our new chicks, and that was a pretty hard day. And since then, we've really put up more fencing and really realized we have to ensure we have more of our systems in place before we expand into more of the pasture or before we try to take on another project such as live like turkeys or anything like that. So yeah, really learning to double down and also trying to do these different projects. A favorite part of this journey so far, I would say, has been that I'm somebody who I really need to feel busy and like I need to be doing something. If I'm not, like I can never just sit still. So my favorite part of this has been that now I feel like I could work all day, which has its bad parts because what I've also had to realize is that like with farming, you just work all day and probably with some like everything else, right? You could just get lost in it, especially at the beginning when you're trying to get started, so that you might neglect other relationships or partnerships and not really realize how focused in you are on something. And so the learning and just always looking for something to do, I guess.
Yes. Also my favorite. My favorite part is being able to help the Elders Lodge, to be more outside and be able to have a beautiful space for them. It really makes my heart happy because, yeah, my grandma will probably be going in there soon, and I want to give them a beautiful space.
Yeah, and to begin with, like our very first thing in our first work plan we tried to submit was that we wanted to work with providing for the elders, and now it's kind of come full circle to where we're getting paid to do stuff for the elders. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
My name's Kayla. Nicole and I are working on supporting youth in our community. So we'll touch on a few things that we've been working on. So first off, we've been using social media to amplify youth voice in our community. So we've been working collaboratively with our communications team and mental health capacity builders to come up with a campaign that shares youth voice, shares well-being tips, and things like that. So far, there's been really good engagement and positive feedback about the campaign, and so we hope to continue to find ways to share youth voice through this platform.
So yeah, the other big thing that we're working on is what we're calling our Back to School Bash. So it's our attempt at a safe socialization opportunity for youth with an outdoor movie night. So we've got a movie, we've got snacks and swag and entertainment, and we've got kind of a decorate your space contest so that they have some agency and some building into the night for themselves. But the thing that we're really excited about is that we're going to be able to, one, share some information and resources about some community organizations and supports available. There's a youth hub coming into our community that we're going to be able to share some information about. And then just being able to provide that opportunity for youth to have a safe way to kind of see their friends, have a sense of normalcy in a safe way that they haven't been necessarily having over the last little while, and that school might be a little scary right now, depending on how they're going back, and hopefully this can provide some fun in a safe way for them.
And moving forward, so kind of a way that we're creating sustainability within our project is through our Child and Youth Coalition. So it started its journey in supporting children and youth 0 to 18 when it was focused only on early years. So we're taking a lot of the learnings from this Community Catalyst project and using them to inform our coalition's work as we move forward. So that way we're ensuring some sustainability.
And so then for kind of an aha moment, I guess, that we've had, we were a little stuck for a while on trying to create something new. But then we kind of had, we were prompted on realizing the value of amplification, that it didn't always have to be something brand new that we were creating, and instead that supporting ongoing initiatives and programs that are already in our community was just as valuable, if not more sometimes. And so we've been able to work towards common goals, which is allowing more relationship building and collaboration and just a stronger approach all around. So yeah, that's what we had to share.
All right, so our project is called the Virtual School Project still currently. That name may change as we kind of custom build the platform and as things sort of develop, but currently we're still going under Virtual School Project. And my name is Julia. Matt's here with me as well from our team. And we also have Jean and Lyle who are missing, and all of our wonderful students who hopefully you'll get to meet later on in the process. So the Virtual School Project, for those of you who need a refresher, is the idea that we're creating kind of a blended model of online education. So the idea that we can do some pieces of online virtually, and then some place-based and land-based education. So we're working with several different bands and hoping to work with elders to do really culturally relevant place-based education in remote communities, while also having an online Alberta education component virtually. So that's one of our mandates. Our project is currently sitting at a testing phase. So we're really in a lot of a reflective period right now. We just did a course called Ways of Knowing in the spring that wrapped up. It was a really beautiful project. We just ran 4 different prototype courses. So that was the first time grade 10 students could take a core class online in a condensed way and earn up to 10 credits. So they were all interdisciplinary courses. So we ran science and design thinking, we ran math and social justice leadership, Aboriginal Studies 10, 20, and 30, as well as English 10 and Aboriginal Studies 10. So the results of that are just coming in, and we actually got to compare our results to the entire district's results from a district-wide survey. I just crunched all of that data. We had over 1,200 responses to 17 questions, so you have a massive report coming your way, Absi. But it's really interesting to see the piece around like where we're at in our system, because as an education system as a whole, we have this really complicated scenario on our hands. We're going through a global pandemic. We have the lowest enrollment we've ever had. We have mass disorganization of different opinions about what public education is and should be, and people going their own way in terms of homeschooling, creating learning pods, all sorts of things happening right now that we're living through. And our model is also one of these alternatives that we're presenting, right? So it's a really interesting time. And part of that moving forward for us is we're working with the Northern Gateway School Division and also Drift Pile First Nation going forward into our fall and Q2 semester for some more prototyping. So that's about where we're at right now. I'm looking forward to sharing some stories and some learning with you, but I'm going to hand it over to Matt, who can tell you all about what the summer school experience has been like.
It was brilliant. Obviously we we're working with Anna Mickey, this tech company, so we haven't been able to create our own custom platform interface yet, but it was the first time that we could really test out some of the theories and the ideas as well as the practice. So again, basically the idea is we're doing it from a fairly traditional Cree perspective. So basically we create the whole course around the idea of a knowledge bundle, as well as around the idea of a giveaway. And so basically each student through the course built a digital knowledge bundle of these learning artifacts, whether they're videos or pieces of art, or some of them chose essays and things more classic, but it was up to them. And then basically we would also contribute, we would open our knowledge bundles and share them to the group. The other really brilliant part, well, there's a few brilliant parts, but basically I was able to structure with through this, the course around Cree natural law. And so it's really fascinating because within it, we could also teach parts of the Cree language. So basically in the Cree language, words that end with WIN denote like a verb, an action, a relationship that's then turned into a law. So like the town of Wetaskiwin, Alberta is a perfect example. Wetaskiwin is the relationship between people, the land, the creator, like this idea that we all exist in this system where we're connected. But it's also a Cree natural law that says you have the job to follow Mio Wetaskiwin, so good relationships to each other and people. So basically we structured a lot of it around these laws, which also allowed us to do a lot of land-based stuff. And then we were able to, because we had under 15 people we could meet outside in person. So we went to an elder's land and we did some lodge teachings. We did what's called a river walk, where we do the history of Edmonton from an Indigenous perspective. And then we also did a TP teaching. And so, save for the fact that the sample size was small and that we don't have our custom sort of interface ready, which is going to be based around all of these ideas. It was very heartening and quite a bit of fun, especially for me. It was nice to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, so, and I'll get you to answer this too, Matt, but so far, the favorite part of the journey for me, I think I have two stories. One is during our final E-Summit for the Ways of Knowing course, we had an elder named Hal Eagletail come in who taught us about knowledge bundles. And one of the things he shared was that when you're giving this teaching, you should always prepare for a thunderstorm, because the teaching is so powerful that a thunderstorm will happen when you're doing this teaching. And sure enough, as he's doing this teaching, this massive thunderstorm breaks out and all of the students got to witness that. And it was so beautiful and powerful and just, it was perfect. It was really, really neat to see happen. And the other thing that's been my favorite has been working with the students with their personalized land acknowledgements. So for us, we can never do a land acknowledgement the same. We'll never, ever again read a scripted land acknowledgement. And it's the same for what's happening in the division. So our students making personalized land acknowledgements have shifted the way that we actually are able to perceive land acknowledgements at the beginning of events, to the point where every single leader is now writing their own personal land acknowledgement before events. And we're loving seeing them on ABC's Pause podcast as well. It's just been a beautiful thing, but it's been confirmed from elders and other people that we've been working with that it should be personal, it should be heartfelt when you're delivering this. And so a scripted land acknowledgement just doesn't make the cut anymore. And our students are leading the way. And it's just been awesome to see. Over to you, Matt.
Well, yeah, I mean, my favorite part was the whole course. I mean, I got a group of I don't remember how many were actually, I even had students auditing, which was amazing, who just wanted to be part of it. So it was a very small group, I think 11 or 12. And just, like I say, the way in which, I don't want to go back to it again, but the way in which, like Wetaskiwin, we were able to talk about like the history of Alberta, because like Wetaskiwin is named for this moment when a Cree and a Blackfoot chief basically agreed to wrestle one-on-one to settle a war. And during it, like it took so long, they took a break and one of their pipes had broken. And so one of the chiefs, I believe the Blackfoot chief, passed it to the Cree chief and realized that under their similar natural laws that they had just smoked the pipe and agreed to share the land. And so they called it Wetaskiwin, which is in the Peace Hills, which is near the Battle River where a battle took place, and which is near Ponoka, where like named after the elk. And so basically we could take Cree natural law, teach some very, very important ethics and laws within Cree worldview, as well as language, as well as history, as well as the course material, all within this constellation. So just to be able to do that was brilliant. I can't wait until we have like a platform that's like based around that. So,
and just to be super crystal clear, because I don't think we explicitly said it, we worked with Lyle, our Aboriginal liaison, and Cree elders the entire time. So it wasn't like just us, just to be crystal clear on that. Yeah. Okay, thanks everyone.
I'm Eily, Aurora, and I'm working on, I'm calling it the Open Space at cSPACE project. So in my timeline at the beginning of this project, I had an analogy of planting a garden, of supporting the garden and then harvesting the garden. And so I'm really noticing that a lot of the seeds that I've been planting right from the very beginning, in terms of like bringing an inquiry process into my project, using systemic constellation work, starting to work with music online, music meditation online, building a clown character to bring joy to people through mental health. And my connections with cSPACE are all kind of coming together at this point, or being woven together into the events that I'm creating in September. And one really exciting thing is that cSPACE presented my event to Alberta Culture Days. So my event, Open Spaces cSPACE, is included in Alberta Culture Days, which is a cross-province event. I'm really excited to see how it goes. I'm a little nervous right now, but there's a lot of experimentation that's happening. One amazing part, and I think one of my favorite parts of the journey, has been bringing my team together. So there's 6 of us, actually 7 of us. There's 3 tenants of the cSPACE Arts Hub. Well, they're all friends of mine, as well as strong members of the community. Another friend of mine who's connected to mental health, the mental health world, and a man from Montana, actually, and he can't jump over the border, unfortunately, to see us, but he's been super supportive, and he's in the open space technology world as well as the systemic constellation world. And we've all been working together for about 2 months now. And in that process, there was this favorite moment of all coming together and doing a collaborative art process to create the branding of the project. And that included our 5-year-old participant, who's our creativity expert. And she's just been bringing a lot of joy to the experience as well. So yeah, going forward, there's a beautiful confirmation of the project, that the intention is really around creating meaningful connection between people. And so I'm working on, I had to train myself to be a programmer and program this technology called KikoChat, which is basically a technology that was developed by a man called Lucas in New York to bring open space technology online. And so it's being used all over the world way more now than ever before. And I'm going to be doing a talk for him around bringing open space technology and music together. So that will be presented to the international community of KikoChat as well. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. And there's also, a lot of unknowns and a lot of experimentation just with this process of open space, as well as the, process of bringing people together with an unknown agenda to create their own event. So there's a lot of exciting things, but it's definitely social innovation because I'm nervous some of the time. So I know I'm on the right track because it's not all easy and clear. But super grateful to be a part of this project, and Absi and Babs and Naomi have been awesome.
My project is called Inclusive Innovation, and kind of where I'm sitting at right now is we've been able to facilitate over 12 sessions with our stakeholder groups, and that's BIPOC innovators. We've been able to identify almost 40 innovators in the ecosystem as well. And then I've been able to learn about what are some of the barriers and different challenges, as well as, look at how we are able to build capacity to kind of create unique solutions for BIPOC communities and rural communities. So that's been great. I've learned a lot. There's a lot of data there, but it's a great place, and it's opened up a lot of pieces around even my own development and growth as an innovator, as a designer, and as a social entrepreneur. So that's been cool. And then what has been my favorite part of the journey so far, I think, other than facilitating, BIPOC groups and in Alberta, it's been really around some of the learnings. So when Peter DeVos came through and he was able to provide some learning around the journey learning of your program, of your project, you know, using those tools, the evaluation metrics that he was able to provide, because I realized that I've been kind of using a developmental evaluation framework, but I didn't create a theory of change necessarily of like, and so I was able to kind of then create that afterwards. And so that was really beneficial. And then Brooks with the social finance, social enterprise presentation and funding, that really was really significant as well. And so I was then able to host a BIPOC or social finance and social enterprise for BIPOC communities, a little workshop, and we had about 15 people attend that. So that was great just to kind of educate folks around social innovation or social finance and social enterprise. So that was cool.
Okay. I'm Tasha. I'm Karen, and we're Dre's Angels. And we connect with youth that are transitioning and trying to find purpose. And we're doing this just by being there and supporting them in organic supports like a family would.
We value the relationships that we build with our youth every single day, and we've really valued the time that we've had to spend with the Community Catalyst program.
I think what we found the most valuable out of the program is the connections that we've made and the support that we've had. And we know that that support will be there as we continue our journey even after our grant time period is over.
We really look forward to continuing our journey with ABSI.